Valmiki Ramayana's Samkshepa Ramayana portion, verse number 21. We begin with the first two verses and then move on to 21. Om tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram Naradam paripapracha Valmikir munipungavam Konvasmin sampratam loke Gunavan kascha viryavan Dharmagnyascha kritagnyascha Satyavakyo dridhavrataha Charitrena cha koyuktaha Sarvabhuteshu kohitaha Vidwan kakka samarthascha Kaschaika priyadarshanaha. Verse 21. Yauvarajyena sanyoktum Aichat pritya mahipatihi.
Yauvarajyena sanyoktum Aichat pritya mahipatihi.
Tasyabhisheka sambharan Drishtva bharyatha kaikeyi.
Tasyabhisheka sambharan Drishtva bharyatha kaikeyi.
Purvam dattavara devi Varamena maya chata.
Purvam dattavara devi Varamena maya chata.
Vivasanam cha Ramasya Bharatasya abhishechanam.
Vivasanam cha Ramasya Bharatasya abhishechanam.
So we have seen up to here desiring, with his age advancing, desiring to install Sri Rama as a Yuvaraj, as the prince on this throne. King Dasharatha, what did he do? He immediately decided to coronate his son Rama. And this decision when he made, he was very happy. But that night when he slept, he had some dreams, some indications of something not okay. And so next day he was keen on doing it immediately without waiting. The following day was an auspicious day, and so he decided to immediately install him. So calling his ministers and sage and counselors and so on, he discussed with them and it was decided it would be done the following day. And then you know what happened after that. With all the festivities in place, just one day for this installation, suddenly there was so much going on in Ayodhya. And of course the king of Kekeya or the king of Mithila, there wasn't enough time to invite them. But nevertheless, the celebration, the air had changed. The celebration, the festivity had kicked in Ayodhya. And it was at this time that we find Manthara, the aid, the childhood maid of Kaikeyi. She happened to see this sudden shift, and Mother Kausalya giving all her gifts to her people, and she asked what's going on, and when she found out, she couldn't believe her ears. She felt a distaste in this whole process, and she rushes to inform Queen Kaikeyi, the most favorite queen of King Dasharatha. Well, there's a sudden turn of events. Kaikeyi, poisoned by Manthara's small thinking, which was given to rivalry and jealousy and competition. Poor Kaikeyi, who never had such a thought system in her existence as a queen, she who loved Rama as much as she loved her own son Bharata, she found herself so resentful of this coronation that was to happen the following day, and making a big issue out of it. And really, as advised by Manthara, who now becomes the savior for Kaikeyi, well, she creates a whole new context in her sorrow and grief at this decision. And we know what happened that night before the so-called coronation. Kaikeyi and Dasharatha, cold as Kaikeyi was, desperate and frustrated as Dasharatha was, well, the fate of Sri Rama was sealed and nothing could be done. And therefore, why was that? Because Purve Dattavara Devi. This Kaikeyi was one to whom two boons had been given long ago, long back, and she chose to cash in. Ayachata. She chose to cash in on those boons. And what were the boons? Two boons. Ramasya Vivasanam, Bharatasya Abhishechanam. Exiling of Sri Rama and coronation of Bharata was declared by her. And this is something she wasn't going to budge from. And Dasharatha, all night it was spent in grieving and pleading and begging, folding his hands in prayer to her, falling on her feet to change. He could not fathom how he could do this to his dearest child. And someone, not only his child, he was one who was loved by one and all in Ayodhya. How would he face him? What would he say? And in this grief and sorrow and a delirious state, well, the dawn sets in. Whole Ayodhya has gotten ready for the celebration, and Dasharatha lies there in Kaikeyi's chambers, totally grief-struck. Well, so what did he do? Finally, what happened? What could happen? Verse 23 describes what really finally concluded. Sasatyavachanad Raja.
Sasatyavachanad Raja.
Dharma Pashena Sanyataha.
Dharma Pashena Sayyataha.
Vivasayamasa Sutam.
Vivasayamasa Sutam.
Ramam Dasharatha Priyam.
Ramam Dasharatha Priyam.
Sajagamavanam Viraha.
Sajagamavanam Viraha.
Pratignyam Anupalayan.
Pratignyam Anupalayan.
Pitur Vachana Nirdeshat.
पितुर्वचन निर्देशात्
कैकेय्या प्रियकारणात्.
कैकेय्या प्रियकारणात्.
And so here, this Raja, this king who was a truthful man, who was an honest man who had been trapped in the name of Dharma by his own wife. All right. Sa Satya Vachanad Raja Dharma Pashena Sanyataha. Sanyata means he was bound. Bound by what? Bound by the rope of Dharma. Hey, what do you mean rope of Dharma? Who's the rope? His own wife became the rope, became the noose. How can Dharma be a noose? Dharma can become a noose if you sign blank checks and give. Dharma need not be a noose. Dharma can be very freeing. Dharma can make you strong. Dharma can make you fearless. But for Dasharatha, Dharma becomes a pasha. Pasha means a noose. And why? Because his Dharmacharini, his own queen, who should be given to Dharma, well, he has trusted her Dharma and given her 2 blank checks. And well, she, as Dasharatha says later, by fraud, he was trapped. You can be dharmic, but you should be astute, not a fool. And not only that, okay, he made a mistake. But now when Queen Kaikeyi asked for the boon, he could have always said, what boon are you talking about? What boon? Don't you remember in the battlefield I did this for you? I saved your life. You saving my life? What are you talking about? I saved life of people. How could you have saved my life? You are dreaming, Kaikeyi. He could have said that. He could have brushed off the whole thing. Like many husbands do, you know. Did I promise you a diamond necklace? You must be dreaming. So these things can happen, right? You know very well. Dasharatha could have denied this promise. But being Satya Vachanad Raja, because of his own commitment to truth, how could he say anything differently? And therefore, what did he do? Dasharathaha Priyam Sutam Ramam Vivasayamasa. His dearest child Rama. What did he do? He exiled him. Next day morning he sent for Sri Rama. And when he came, he could not even look at him. His eyes were brimming in tears. He couldn't even look at him. And Sri Rama wonders, what has he done wrong? Why his father doesn't look at him? Well, as though to help King Dasharatha, Kaikeyi declares the 2 boons. And Sri Rama says, of course, whatever it takes to fulfill my father's wishes, of course I'm ready to go. And Kaikeyi makes it very clear, it has to be done right now if you want to see your father relieved of this sorrow. You need to do it today. And Sri Rama tells her, yes, let me meet my mother, take her blessings, inform my wife, and I will leave today. And so Dasharatha hears this. He has no words except he's becomes so fragile and faint-hearted. And in this dialogue between Sri Rama and Kaikeyi, where Lakshmana is also standing there, his younger brother. As I told you, Imagine steam emerging from Lakshmana's ears, but he cannot say a word because it's a dialogue between the older brother and Kaikeyi. And therefore furious he is, totally opposed he is, and he goes with Sri Rama to Kausalya's residence. Kausalya is Sri Rama's own mother. Sri Rama goes there to seek blessings. Well, she is waiting for the coronation ceremonies. Recitations, chants are going on everywhere. All are beautifully dressed, but Sri Rama goes and makes this declaration. Kausalya cannot hear this. You can imagine a mother's heart. I need not describe what pain, what sorrow, what agony. She says, I always knew I was namesake the oldest queen, but Kaikeyi was always the favorite. What is the point in me living here, Sri Rama? I will come with you. Let me go with you to the forest. And Sri Rama makes it very clear that your place is with your husband. A wife's place is with her husband as long as the husband is alive, not with her father or her son. Her first duty is to be with her husband, and therefore the king needs your support, your help. You cannot abandon him and go to the forest. That is incorrect. I cannot allow an incorrect act. So bless me, mother, let me go. Lakshmana hears this and it is too much. Too much to hear this. He says, what is wrong with you, O Rama? What is wrong with you? How can you accept this nonsense? These unfair conclusions that the king has made because of he is totally carried away by Kaikeyi. We cannot give in to this. And Sri Rama calms him down and tells him, look, this is the nature of our destiny. Kritanta vihitaha. He says it is the power of destiny that has made Kaikeyi ask for these boons just before coronation. Lakshmana says, I don't believe in this destiny. Well, some of us can identify with Lakshmana, no? I don't believe in destiny. I believe in being a self-made man. I believe in my power. I believe in my courage. And therefore, I will fight destiny, he says. Sri Rama tells him, hey, who is that idiot who tries to fight destiny and is going to win? What is destined to be will be. Kaha daivena yodhum utsahate puman. In Valmiki he says, who dare fight destiny and understand the sukham, the dukkham, the happiness, the sorrow, deep fears, deep anger, gain, loss, all of this that exists, it is coming only from destiny, and destiny is nothing but expression of your own blueprint, your own actions. And he says, do you recognize that even rishis, sages, who are given to penance, and they have been living tremendously strict lives of penance, niyaman tivran, even they give up. Even they slip like Vishwamitra slipped when he saw Menaka. Thousands of years of penance, but they slipped because destiny did not support. And therefore, kama manyu bihi bhrashyate. brashyante. By desires, by anger, they slip, don't they? And so destiny finally holds things together. And therefore, don't worry, relax, let it go. I have no sense of loss, so there is no reason for you to either. Lakshmana argues now. You can see in this section in Valmiki, tremendous arguments. He says, I cannot stand your logic. Not sahe sahitum. I cannot stand your dharma. Even your sense of dharma is disgusting to me. Sopi dharmaha mama dveshyaha. If you knew Sanskritam, you will understand the words of Valmiki.